Robots Radio. Games, lore, stories, community. Just press play. This show is brought to you by our patrons at patreon.com/ElderScrollsLorecast.
Robots Radio presents The Elder Scrolls Lorecast.
Welcome to the Elder Scrolls Lorecast, a place where the Elder Scrolls community can come together to discuss the boundaries of our knowledge about the universe of the Elder Scrolls. Adventurers, welcome back to the Elder Scrolls Lorecast. It is time to talk about some more weird and wacky stuff. I am your host, Tom, or Robots as usual, and I am back with my co-host, the Lotus of the Doom. Welcome back, buddy. How's it going?
Things are good. Things are good. Gonna get weird with Dwemer this time.
Yes. Okay, so you can't talk weird and wacky stuff without talking about Dwemer because, of course, Dwemer are just kind of weird and wacky. We don't get to interact with them in any of the games because we get the remnants of the Dwemer. So, of course, we get the stories and
there is a
automatons.
Dwemer.
There is a Dwemer, but we don't get Dwemer as in like plural, right? We don't get to like walk among them. Sure,
right. We get some, flashback interactions with spirits, specifically in ESO a decent bit. And there's everybody's favorite chubby spider Dwemer Yargrim Bagar.
Right. I've even read stuff where people assume that like, all Dwemer were like that. And it's like, no. Just this one is like a chubby spider looking dude.
I was going to say, that's like saying all of the human race looks exactly the same. It's like, well, there's some variety with us.
Sure. Or like meeting somebody in a wheelchair and being like, all humans ride around in wheelchairs.
Exactly. Or all humans are exactly 6 feet tall, which we know is not true.
Right. Okay, so there are more or less legitimate theories for anything having to do with anything, right? And especially when it comes to the Elder Scrolls. And in today's episode, we're going to dig into some of the weirder and wackier theories about the disappearance of the Dwemer. And some of the theories stick a little bit more to the lore and the things that are revealed. And we're not given a whole lot, but there are some that stick a little bit more firmly to what is revealed specifically in Morrowind or in ESO and some of the books and the things. And somebody like Aramithius, who we've had on our show before, Written in Uncertainty, his podcast, would stick to specific references and really dig into the nitty gritty of that stuff. And I'm going to reference something that he posted when I talked about this on Twitter earlier today, because I think he's got some really cool ideas here. But instead of going into depth about, say, his theory, because I think this is a thing that he would do really, really well, and we should actually bring him on to go into depth about specifically his theory and some of the little bit more legitimate theories. What I wanted to do, because this is in our weird and wacky section that we've been doing, is talk about some of the more ridiculous theories, or at least less substantiated theories that may still be possible. Because those are fun too, right?
And I think a good way to end this one, which I think might be kind of interesting, is to close out whether it's wacky or if it's actually something you're we should end tonight, after we get into some of the weirder ones, with which one do you think is the actual case, be it weird or be it grounded?
Why don't we rate it on a wacky scale?
Okay,
we're going to go through each of these, and I think I'm going to put them in the order that I think they're going to get progressively wackier, or at least
weirder,
at least more extreme. Let me say that. More extreme. They're going to become more extreme, and we're going to give them a rating of how likely these are to actually be possible. We'll give them like a possibility scale of like 1 to 10.
Okay.
Right. So like a 1 would be like, no, there's no way this is possible at all. This is a pipe dream. This person must have been, smoking the skooma. There's nothing going on here that's ever going to make sense. There's no way at all. And a 10 would be like, even if they're not actually referencing anything specifically in game, this this really could work. Like there's something here that would actually work with just the way we understand Elder Scrolls stories to work, or we understand, previous things in the world, and the pieces kind of fit together. Does that make sense?
I got you.
So that could be like a 9. It just doesn't have any hard references. We would need some hard references to make it a 10. Does that make sense? So, okay. But before we get into that, and normally I save this stuff for the middle of the show, I have a really big announcement because I'm super excited about this. The Patreon for the Elder Scrolls Lorecast has been upgraded with merchandise. And this is something that I have done because I put out some polls out there on the Discord. I put out a poll out there on the Twitter. And I basically threw this out there and I said, hey, guys, if I was to add merchandise to the Patreon for no extra cost, if I just decided, you know what, for the current tiers that are out there, for the prices that they currently are, if I decided to just add on, to just tack on some merch, like stickers and t-shirts, just throw those on there as a bonus. What do you guys think about that? Would you upgrade maybe or sign up for something? And a lot of people were like, heck yeah. So I was like, all right, let's do it. Why not? You guys have been awesome. You've been supporting the show. And you know what? If you are currently somebody who is supporting the show, guess what? You are now going to get, if you are tier 3, you are now going to start getting stickers. If you're tier 4 or higher, you're going to start getting t-shirts. And if you want to start getting stickers or t-shirts, if you sign up at those tiers, you will start getting t-shirts and stickers. And so I want to show this off. If you're currently in the live stream or you're watching the video, check this out. This image right here is the first, and we're starting with Daedra. And I'm going to go through them alphabetically. So every 3 months, if you stick with whatever tier you're at or higher, then you will be able to get whatever, either the sticker or the t-shirt for the Daedra that is currently in order of the one that you would be getting. So we're starting with Azura. So, right, of course, we have a moon and a star. And if you look at here, just look at my shirt. So I've got the Skyrim shirt on right now. It's the dragon symbol from Skyrim, and my shirt's just black. It's a black symbol on a red shirt. So I went one better than that. So all of these are the Daedric symbols stylized with some sort of texture or art behind the symbol. So this one is the moon and the star for Azura, but there's an eclipse behind it in like reds and blacks with a moon and a sun behind the symbol. And then within the symbol is the Elder Scrolls Lorecast, very small inside the symbol. And there's some others too. I'm going to pull up some of the other artwork. And I really don't think that the t-shirt mock-ups really do the art right. So I'm going to pull up Boethia. This is the next one on here. And I'm going to make this real nice and big. Where did it go? Image. I gotta reset the transformation. Oh, it's not coming up right. Let me pull up the t-shirt one then. I think it's because it's a PNG. It's just not pulling it up. So here's the t-shirt version of it. And Boethia is, oops, I'm moving us and not it, is the fist with the snake.
Classic snake punch.
Yeah, the snake punch. But the texture on here is like an aged wood, but it's like a gray wood with like white in it. And it's even got some like iron and aged iron and metal inside of it. And I wish you guys could see the high res details of this stuff, but it's awesome. It's awesome looking stuff. I just love these. Here, I'll show another one. This is Clavicus Vial. This one I think is really, really great because it's the Clavicus Vial mask symbol. But and I wish this was in higher res on these pictures for the stream, but you can see behind it there are gold septums because Clavicus Vial is always working out deals. But yeah, those are actual septums. You can see the symbols like behind there. And all of these, if you go to the Patreon, the high definition actual images are in the post on the Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/Elder Scrolls Lorecast, look at the most recent post, you'll see the t-shirt ones, but then the high definition actual ones, if you click on them, they'll get real big on your screen. You can actually see the definition that's in those. So it's, I don't know. I'm super proud of it. The community has been really big on these too. I think they're really, really cool. They're the kinds of t-shirts that I'm like, I wish they would make these. So I put them out there. I think you guys are going to be excited about them as well. But it's just my way of saying thank you for being loyal patrons. It's just an extra bonus to those people who are already signed up for no extra cost. And if you want to upgrade or sign up and get t-shirts now, it's just part of the Patreon. Also, these will never go up on the store. So the only way you can actually get these shirts is by being patrons. So once they work their way through the Patreon, then we're going to move on to the rest of the Daedric Princes. And once we work through all of those, then they're not going to cycle back through. We'll go on to other t-shirts. So once these cycle out, then they'll be gone. These will be limited edition, and we'll move on to other t-shirts with other symbols or other characters or whatever. So I just wanted to put that out there on the front at the beginning of this because I'm super excited about it, and we've already had some people upgrade and stuff, and I can't wait to actually, the more I talk about it, the more I need to just get my own. I'm going to have to just buy my own and get them shipped here. And man.
I really like the Azura one.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite so far.
Is that your favorite? Here, I'll show the last one. Dude, I have to show you this one. Look at that. So, Hermaeus Mora, the eye with the tentacles. The texture underneath there, do you know what that is?
It's the mist, right? When you're reading the Black Book.
It's an actual screenshot from the game.
Yep, I actually know exactly which screenshot that is. But I love how you managed to sync the eye with the eye.
Yeah,
in that just looks really cool. The way Hermaeus Mora's little orby eye hovering above the Black Book in that screenshot, because that's what it is. It's like the raised bit above where the Black Book would be. If you look up, he materializes in front of it.
Yeah.
I love how his like weird little like double pupil connected eyeball thing fit right into the actual flag that you used, like the flag symbol from his banner.
Yep.
It looks so cool synced right up like that. Also, speaking of the banner, which is there, man, I really hope they put more of those in the Bethesda store, because they did a couple of the Daedric Princes slighted.
Slighted.
No Hermaeus Mora. What?
Oh, no Hermie. We're actually going to... Hermie's going to come up again as we talk about the Dwemer. Little hint here. But yeah, I got a nice high-res picture of Hermie and then fit it in there inside the artwork for Hermie's banner with the eye, the double pupil eye inside the eye, and then the green inside the tentacles. I was like, oh my gosh. When I figured out how to fit that design inside the other design, I was like, oh, this is so good. Lotus is going to love this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, super excited about those. Okay, I'll stop wasting your time gushing about t-shirts that I designed, but I'm not a designer, so when I do something that I actually like, I'm very excited about it because I'm not a designer. But it's just one of those things that, you work on this stuff for years and eventually you get to the point where you're just like, oh, okay, this is good. I did a good thing. Yay. But all right, let's talk about Dwemer. So I mentioned Eremithius, and Eremithius has an actual legitimate concept here, and I'm just going to share the idea of the concept, and maybe we'll have him come on in the future and talk about this. Maybe this is something he can talk about on his show, but I just want to throw out what an actual legitimate idea sounds like. And he writes, my money is on them trying to become the skin of the Numidium, nicely laid out in the final report to Trebonus in the Imperial Library. They did, however, reduce themselves to ashes in the process, as shown in Bam's Ashend, and didn't get every Dwemer soul. And as referenced, Yagi and ghosts. I always took the ghosts to be... He continued this. Hold on. And then he continued this and said, as a result of not getting every soul, they probably couldn't mash all the bits back together to get to godhood, and Kagranak was a little rushed at the Battle of Red Mountain, so he probably failed and killed them all instead. So the concept of the Numidian was to create a god, a living god, and the idea here would be that they would then take part in becoming that living god by becoming the skin of the Numidium, which would make sense. And of course he has a reference to a document that insinuates that this was part of the plan, right? And they got rushed. They didn't get all the souls together. They didn't mash it in together. Something, didn't come together in the last moments because of the battle. And instead of fitting them all into this, it actually just wiped them out. Boom, they're dead, right?
Yep.
sounds like a legitimate, actual thing that could have happened, right? This seems to make sense, and it comes with a reference. So I would love to dig deeper into this, Aramithius. I think you would, of course, be awesome. You're always welcome on the show. We'd love to have you digging into this with us in a future episode, but we'll just leave that there, not to be discussed anymore in this episode. Let's get into some of the wackier stuff. What do you say we do that?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, so here we go. First one, and this one's pretty short. So this one, and I did some crawling around on the internet for some of these, and I think these might coincide with some of the ideas that people have kind of floating out there in the wild, because these aren't things that I haven't heard. You know, these are things that echo things that I have heard in talking to some other people. So this one comes from a forum post. And I'm not going to call specific people out, because just in case they don't want to be called out, some of these are actually fairly old, so they may not even think that these are legitimate ideas anymore. This one says, so what if the Dwemer aren't gone? Instead, what if they trap themselves inside the constructs they created? Just an idea, since it doesn't seem like they, seemingly from what's been said by lore, but like seemingly by what's been said in the lore, dwarves were all that nice to begin with. Not to mention the machines have functioned for centuries by repairing themselves, and some even become friendly. Maybe children or the few who opposed their culture. Either way, just a thought. Just wanted to share if anyone else has seen this. And then someone else followed up and says, yes, this is the exact idea I had for a while now. They trap themselves inside the soul gems they use for their constructs and have been furiously trying to rebuild their civilization since their war with the Chimer, and over the years have driven themselves insane with their futile attempts. So what if their own spirits are powering these machines, which seem to just last forever, right? Like they have this, like you come across these machines hundreds and hundreds of years later, and the machines just keep on running and seem to be whiling away underground in these cities, protecting the cities, kind of keeping everything running as if they were the owners of the cities.
That's a pretty neat one. And it kind of, that seems like a pretty rough misdirection in life. If that's where your entire race got misplaced, it's like, okay, well, you get now to be basic little makeshift automatons stuck maintaining these cities that are collapsing over time type of deal. That seems like they just would have imprisoned themselves after that. That one's a little dark.
Yeah. Like what if they didn't mean to do it? You know, like of course something went wrong. You're
it's a side effect with the heart or something like that.
You know, or what if it's classic concept of like you ask the genie for immortality. And
that's your immortality.
Here's your immortality. You're going to live forever in these soul gems. That is that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, not that they were asking a genie for mortality, but
but I was going to say you're essentially a quote unquote. One of their wishes was to ascend and kind of gain immortality. This would theoretically be one way that they could have obtained it, and also a pretty rough one that. Monkey's paw scenario. It's like, yep, you're immortal, but now you're a robot. Like,
right. Sucks to be you. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, old CAG managed to give them what they asked for, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, what if that was their punishment? Like, what if
for messing with it?
Yeah. What if the gods struck them down in their attempt at gaining godhood?
We all know they don't do anything anyways.
Or what if, the power of Lorcan's heart struck them down? What if the messing with the heart was like tampered?
Messing with the heart is, has had some interesting stuff come about from messing with it. And in their situation, that's pretty aggressive. Just like time to smash the heart, get the good stuff. It's like, all right, well, it's about as direct as it gets. So I kind of like that one. That one's kind of decent. Like that's neat. I haven't heard that one, but it would, I don't know. I like the idea of just like, oh no, they've been there this whole time. You just aren't talking to them. Like,
yeah. Or what if the Numidium, what if the Walk Brass Tower wasn't just the one giant construct? What if it was the sum of the entire Dwemer civilization? What
Okay.
if all of the Dwemer constructs together are the Numidium?
It's we've in the series kind of defined the Numidium as just the Numidium as opposed to all of the Dwemer parts that make the whole of the Numidium. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I can see what you're saying. It's
Right.
just, the actual quote unquote, the thing that we know as the Numidium just tends to be the one that is most associated with that, as opposed to each of the parts makes up one full thing that's a Numidium.
Right. Maybe
That's
all of the constructs, maybe all of the underground workings are all somehow connected and channel power all into each other. Maybe they're all part of a greater.
That's an interesting idea. On top of that, man, we break a lot of the Numidium then throughout the game.
We do. We're constantly breaking all the
just
parts.
breaking it all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been ages of the world. It's been eras.
Just smashing Numidium pieces left and right each game. There's an actual achievement in ESO just for breaking 1,000 of them or something like that. It's like,
Yeah. All right. So what do you think?
Off little pieces.
What do you think? What do you think about the potential plausibility of this? We'll call it plausibility.
I actually really like that one. I out of all the weird, because I've heard plenty of Dwemer theories or whatever, but for some reason I've never come across that one. I kind of like that one. I don't know. What are we rating these out of? What did you say,
Out of 10.
1 to 10?
Out of 10.
All right,
Plausibility score out of 10.
One soul gem is 1 out of 10 soul gem. I'm gonna give that one I think that one's got a lot that I like about it. So I'm gonna say I want to give that one 8 soul gems.
8 soul gems? Yeah, I was thinking like 7 or 8.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot, actually.
Okay. Yeah. I'm down with that. I think 7 or 8. I don't know that it really holds up. I don't know that there's any actual real references to this, but
no, well, a lot of this is going to be a lot more speculation based on like, hey, they're messing with the god's heart. Okay, well, you could really spin that in a lot of different directions, and the series hasn't given you too many concrete bits.
Right. Okay, so here, let's go on to the next one. I think you might like this. So this one also comes from the Elder Scrolls Online forum, and this one's more recent. And it says, as I was playing through Skyrim yet again, I took a closer look at the artwork of the environments, and this time around I noticed a prevalent motif in all Dwemer ruins. And the motif is a central structure with a circle and a dot in the middle, with some lines coming out of that central circle with the dot. And 2 of the lines look like they have these kind of shapes, which looks like Hermaeus Mora in Dwemer structures.
Huh.
Yes. Here,
Actual picture.
I
of this?
will put this up on the screen right now.
All right,
for anybody who really wants to see it. And
you have my attention.
I'm loading it up right now. This image shows up pretty regularly. See it on the screen? So this is great audio podcasting. But yes, a circle like an eye with lines radiating out from it, and 2 of the lines out to the side. So it looks kind of like a crab with a big eye in the middle.
I've never noticed this, but yeah, he looks
a tentacle monster.
That could be a tentacle monster, or like, looking at amoebas through a microscope. Either of those.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
This image shows up in some of the Dwemer structures in Skyrim. It's actually fairly common. And they go on to write, and I thought, well, that's strange. That's not really a geometric pattern like you would think the Dwemer would have used, given their propensity for logic and reason. But then it hit me. The reason why Dwemer civilization was so far advanced beyond everyone else, the reason they had the tech to make automatons, the reason they had giant steam-powered elevators into massive caverns while everyone else was working with simple staircases. You know what else looks like this motif? Of course, Hermaeus Mora. How else would they have gotten the knowledge to build something like the Numidium? How else would Kagrenak have learned how to make his famous tools in an attempt to achieve divinity? But all of these massive achievements by the Dwemer always came with a cost, In the case of the Numidium, every time it was used, it was accompanied by sweeping changes to the space-time continuum. And of course, by trying to manipulate Lorcan's heart with his tools, Kagranok vanished the Dwemer from the face of Nirn. Why else would the motif be so prevalent in Dwemer stonework? It's literally everywhere in any Dwemer ruin. But it makes sense if they were trying to give a nod to the being who essentially made all the great advances of their civilization possible. And of course, it also makes sense that old Herma Mora would be playing the long game and trade all of those technological secrets to the Dwemer, knowing he would eventually have the last laugh. As he would put it, all knowledge has a price. So do you think that he spent centuries feeding them knowledge, knowing that they would abuse it and he would eventually be able to consume them or consume their souls or take from them what he wanted when the time was right?
Interesting. That's
forbidden knowledge, the forbidden knowledge of technology, the forbidden knowledge of how to harness the power of Lorcan's heart.
I was going to say that the forbidden knowledge around the heart of Lorcan in general, like,
even the discovery of even knowing where it was.
Right. It's like, we're going to just keep feeding you what you need to get. Okay. Now, one of you is going to want to touch that. It's like, go on, do it. It's like, oh, so that's what happens when you smash them. Cool. Like,
yeah,
because one of the things that I've always found funny about just just from the goofy side of imagining Hermaeus Mora collecting like information a lot of times. And there's actually a really cool little side quest tangentially Hermaeus Mora related in Blackwood that kind of addresses this. And it almost is as weird as it sounds, but it's just like from the perspective of, I made kind of like the comment where it's like, oh, he kind of looks like an amoeba puppy. He looks kind of like an amoeba or something like that in that design. From the flip side, him collecting information really just almost seems like more just like, if I jam these two things together, what happens? All right, I'm going to poke this one. What happens? And just like, exactly. Yeah. Sciencing his way across all of like the oceans of, time and space here, just jabbing stuff just to see what happens. Mm-hmm. And in this very concrete version where it's just like, come on, smash that heart for me. See, I want to know what it does. Yeah. And then having the Dwemer smash it and just be like, boop. And it's like, oh, cool. All right. So that's what happens. All right. Anyways, next.
Right. Well, here's the other thing is that in the first era, the heart was discovered. And how would the Dwemer have discovered where the heart was? It was under the ocean. Yeah. It was underneath the mountain. It was underground in the heart of the mountain below ocean level. Like, were they just delving into the depths of a volcano? Like, what was the point of that? Like, what was, like, you don't look at a volcano and go, that seems like a good place to start digging. And like, you just like, that's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a good reason to start delving into an active volcano. Unless there's something down there that you want to go find. Right?
That's, this is interesting. I'm liking these so far. These are wacky and very enjoyable.
Some really cool stuff. So I'm going to call this one out because this one was only from a year ago, September 2020. September 2020. So this is Saucy Jack on the Elder Scrolls Online forums, and I'm sure you can respond to this if you want to, because this one's pretty current still. Yeah. So these are going to get weirder. What do you think about this one, though? Plausibility scale.
I mean, the plausibility of that is more than I actually at first was going to give this credence. And it really makes me realize that out of all the time I spent in Skyrim, I never specifically looked in one of those. I don't know. It's like a recess in the structure.
Yeah, because I think it's often in the. I mean, this one looks like it's on a wall. I feel like sometimes it was in some of those
like it's on a wall, or that you were looking straight down at like a table.
Yeah. Those cases right. And you would look down in the cases. There were like these shelves, like the shelving areas. I feel like it was in those sometimes.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah. Huh. I would say that I could see there being a pretty solid potential to this, just because for anybody who's played the Dragonborn expansion, or pretty much any interaction with Mora, there's plenty, and well, not plenty, but there's a few in ESO. Once Mora gets what information he is trying to collect, if you're no longer of use, it's kind of like meh. So the fact that this could result in the Dwemer basically just being tossed in the trash, even if it wasn't the heart that necessarily does it, but it's like, okay, you've worn out your usefulness to me. Like we're just going to collect whatever it does. I'll put you in my petri dish of finding out how do you react as a race to it or something like that. There's a whole bunch of other theories you could spin off based on that, which I kind of like. But I don't know.
Or just moves them to a pocket dimension and then just runs tests on them for eternity.
To Apocrypha while we absorb whatever knowledge I can out of what you've been doing the past, millennia. I'm going to give this one, like, I could see this being pretty similar, like maybe a seven soul gems area type of thing. That one's, there's nothing honestly too outlandish about it that makes me think it couldn't necessarily be a thing, but it almost seems like something you could attach onto other theories.
Yeah. I'm in agreement. I think this one's interesting. You and I both love some Hermie Mora, and the idea that he, like, this would be the one little hints of some things going on, like the real long play that he's been working on underneath all of this stuff. Super cool. Like, that's a super cool thing. So
yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. It's a pretty good one. I'm a fan of that one, actually. I like that quite a bit, especially based on something that's been there this whole time that I actually just haven't seen. Like, I do not remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that setup, but I guess I've never stared closely enough at it that it's like, hey, that little squiggly thing kind of looks more alike.
Right. Yeah. Hey, there you go. Maybe it could just, what if it's just like a bunch of like Skyrim kids just running into old ruins.
Just drawing pages, like hee.
Yeah.
Just drawing squiggly lines.
Leaving squiggly line crap all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, tell you what, we've got some more to get to, but we have to go thank our patrons for being awesome. So we'll be right back in 1 second.
The skies are marked with numberless sparks, each a fire, and every one a sign.
Hey there, my name's Jameson, or Big Cat.
And I am Brenna, or Mother Goose.
And together, we are the hosts of the DL, Weekly Gaming News.
Each week, we bring you the top stories from last week, as well as something you might have missed.
Our goal is to start a conversation about what's going on in the world of gaming.
And every week, we have a special guest join us in the chat room, where we discuss a different gaming-related topic and learn more about our guests in the 60-second download.
And if that isn't enough, we also have Slim Jims.
So come and hang out with us every week and join in on the conversation.
Good luck and have fun, everybody.
And remember, keep your goose loose.
So as of right now, we have 46 patrons, and that is phenomenal. At the beginning of the show, I mentioned all of the current patrons who are tier 3 will now be getting stickers. All the tier 4 and higher patrons will now be getting t-shirts. And I hope you guys love the designs as much as I do. If you want to sign up, then just check out patreon.com/Elder Scrolls Lorecast, and you can now be getting merch for being a member of our Patreon. And I hope you guys love it. I hope you guys absolutely love it. And as always, I have to call out our tier 5 and higher patrons. We have 2 tier 5 patrons this month. We've got Daniel O and Noodle Al Dente, as usual. So thank you to those friends. And because it's the beginning of a new month, I have to call out any of our new people who signed up in August. And we have Gorka Munda signed up. Thank you, Gorka Munda, and Echo Squad, and Jeremy T. I always say Jeremy, but Jeremy is probably the better way to say that name. And Tracy F. Thank you for signing up in August. I think that's everybody. Let me just double check. Yep. That's everybody who signed up in August. And if you're interested in helping to support the show, but you don't have any money to pitch in, but you still want to help us out, then just sharing it with your friends or leaving a rating and review on Apple Podcasts is a wonderful way to do that. You don't even have to listen on Apple Podcasts, but you just need an Apple account, and you just go to the website and sign up for that. And it's really easy. You can just hit the little 5 stars. And if you leave a review, then we might read it out on a future episode of the show. And so if we've helped you through your workday, your commute, your workout, your, cooking in the kitchen or cleaning up your yard or whatever you're doing, then heck, we'd love you to just take a few minutes to do something like that. It would help out a ton. So thank you to everybody who helps support the show. Oh, and Lotus, I checked out our numbers recently on one of those like podcast websites. And did you know how many podcasts there are in the world?
Oh, wow. That actually almost became very un-PG related had I said what I was going to say.
You were going to say like an effing lot.
Yeah. You read my mind.
Do you know how many? Just guess. Guess a number.
I'll guess a number. 116,000.
There are over 2,600,000 podcasts. 2,600,000 podcasts.
Oh,
2 million.
Holy crap.
600,000 over that many. There's probably closer to 2,700,000 podcasts if I get the number right. I think it was like 2,600,000, 681,000, something like that. So of those 2,681,000 podcasts, what percentage do you think we are in like the top percentage of podcasts based on numbers? Now
I feel dumb because you I posted this on Twitter and I read it and I'm pretty sure I retweeted it and I don't remember what the number was.
Yeah.
Were we in the top 10%, I think, or something like that?
We are in the top 1% of podcasts.
That's even better.
Isn't that insane?
Also, that's ridiculous.
That's of 2 freaking 1,600,000 and whatever thousand podcasts. We are in the top 1% of podcasts on the planet. That is amazing. So thank you to all of our listeners. That is not something that we did. That is something that you guys did by listening to the show, sharing it with your friends, and just being awesome by just being here with us and listening to the show. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't say thank you enough. You guys are awesome.
And I will say, I apologize in advance that so many of you need to listen to my voice that many times because that is an insane amount of downloads.
Oh my God. But thank you guys. I was looking at our download numbers this year. Like we're already at 250,000 download numbers, over 250,000 download numbers just this year. So,
damn.
Yeah, that's a lot of listening that you guys have done. So thank you for being here. Genuinely, from the bottom to the top of my Lorcan heart.
Nice.
Nice.
That's nice.
All right, let's go talk about more Dwemer stuff. Here we go.
Yes, you're entirely brilliant. Conquering madness and all that. Blah, 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 blah.
Grim's asking how many total downloads altogether. I've changed platforms a few times, so I don't have it's not easy to just pull up a total number. I believe we're 600,000 total, maybe 700,000 total downloads overall for the life of the show.
Nice.
Something like that.
That's crazy high.
That's a lot of downloads. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, probably in that range, I think. Yeah, it's a lot of downloads. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, here, let's talk about some more Dwemer stuff.
That's like mildly mind-blowing.
It's a lot of downloads. It's a lot of stuff. Yeah. So here we go. Here's another one. And I told you these are going to get a little bit wackier. Are you ready? You're holding on to your tools, your Kagrenax tools.
Yeah, I've got a Dwemer cube. Does that count?
Close enough. All right, here we go.
Good enough.
Here's another one. This one comes from the fandom site. This is a post from about 4 or 5 years ago. This one says, "Where have all the Dwemer gone? A theory." All right, hold on to your tools. Here we go. Or your cube. This is my work in progress theory as to how the Dwemer actually disappeared. This is also my first post on the forum. Here it goes. The Dwemer never actually vanished from Tamriel. They are trapped in Untime with the Brass God and have been ever since they invoked him at the Battle of Red Mountain. It is known that activating Numidium has induced Dragon Break in the past, and it is recorded that the Dwemer successfully activated the first Brass Tower on the date of the Battle of the Red Mountain. The same day, their entire race disappeared from the face of Tamriel. So why did they vanish? Well, and this is getting into the metaphysics of Skyrim here, but I am just going to put it out there. When the Dwemer activated Numidium, they allowed the secrets of immortality as discovered by High Engineer K, so Kagranak, to manifest in all Dwemer. As the seeming purpose of dragon breaks in nature is to resolve any paradoxes any paradoxes consequential of returning to a dawn era mode of existence, that is, on a non-linear timescale, by occurring whatever events had to have had happened simultaneously in real time, in real linear time. Remember the events of Morrowind and Oblivion. It is only natural that the Dwemer fell, along with their brass god, into a state of untime. Everyone can't be immortal at once, so time, as it exists in the Elder Scrolls, had to resolve itself. Are you following? So, when this happened, it created a paradox, so therefore it created a dragon break, and they moved out of time. This is justification. Roughly. Okay. So the Dwemer's dying wish of existing on a higher plane was suddenly fulfilled. It would explain why the temples did not go with the Dwemer. Of course, by the time the events of Skyrim take place, temples like Mzulf have fallen into serious disrepair, but they weren't seemingly obliterated by anything. It was a temporal phenomenon that wiped out the Dwemer, not a spatial one. So basically, they are removed from time. They weren't sent to another plane of existence.
I'm on board with that it's not a like a physical thing that necessarily removed them. But so maybe I'm getting overly hung up on this one thing that was kind of portrayed as if it was like, yeah, because clearly they can't all be immortal at once. Because why?
They're not immortal. They're not like moving in time indefinitely. Right. They are removed from time.
So
it's like they're put into another. They're removed from the time plane altogether.
But I guess like what I don't understand is why is it a paradox that they couldn't all achieve that at the same time? Like I don't know what in the lore says that is. I mean. Vampires are immortal. Like there's plenty of immortal crap. So like, okay, whatever. Add a million Dwemer of immortal. That one I'm getting hung up on the fact I was like, well, I don't understand why it's a paradox. So
right. Here, let me keep reading.
But yeah, finish up.
So I lost where I was. There is also a quaint little star called Nemoli that must be researched more in depth, unless, of course, we already have all the lore we can get on that. We know it shines brighter every untime. I believe this occurs in-game somewhere around midsummer. We also know from Vex's teachings that it causes the summit of an unnamed mountain to catch fire every time it passes. I don't know what he's referencing here. Well,
I don't either.
While it is not said what mountain it was that this happens to, the pilgrims of Veloth agree it was the location of one of the last Dwemer strongholds in Tamriel. This cannot be a coincidence, can it? The god of time is a dragon called Akatosh. Maybe he is the one spewing fire on Red Mountain, scolding the arrogance of the Dwemer race. The Dwemer getting stuck in untime would also explain why there is no evidence of them ever having reached Sovngarde, which wouldn't make sense because the Dwemer wouldn't go to Sovngarde either.
I was going to say the Dwemer wouldn't go to Sovngarde to begin with.
Right. You don't have to be a Nord to get there. Oblivion, the Black Marsh, or the Dreamsleeve, which is where their life force would have been sent if they actually died. So this person is assuming those are all the same place, which they apparently did not, as they can't be found anywhere in the afterlives of any other races, nor in the inescapable realm of Dreamsleeve. So basically they're saying, like, if you go to any of the afterlife zones, you have no reference to them at all, which I guess is fair. You can't find them in referenced in any afterlife.
Right.
Unless they went like directly to Aetherius or something. This would further corroborate that all of the Dwemer kind achieved immortality on that fated day, and as a consequence, had and have to experience reality on the plane of untime for the rest of their days. Immortality is for the gods and the honorable dead. a maxim that has yet to be broken in the Skyrim universe. So he's using immortality not in the sense of like a vampire lives forever, but in immortality in a sense that like you cannot die.
Yeah. But
it's got a little bit more. Let's see what else he has to say.
Yeah, it's fine. This one I'm struggling a bit with here.
Yeah. I told you, these get weirder.
You are correct.
I know the discussion won't ever end, but I'm going to need you guys to go in-game, Elder Scrolls 5 and Morrowind, to find more evidence for my theory. Anything helps, but I believe we're going to get more closer on any of all Dwemer to English inscriptions that have been created thus far. From Blackreach, blah, 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 blah. I also believe that the Promised Day has something to do with the prophecy of the Dragonborn as it relates to Numidium and the nature of Akatosh. Some players have recently traced a pentagram through locations of import on the global Skyrim map, connecting 5 insects stuck in bell jars. We know that doesn't actually amount to anything. I was going to say,
we know for a fact that that's not a thing.
That's not a thing, right? Do you think the Dwemer are trapped in Untime? Do you think they could ever find a way to escape it? Do you think that they would? Granted, it would mean they would have to give up their immortality. So he's basically saying they gained immortality by being plucked out of our actual time structure to live undyingly outside of our...
so that like an immortal master or something like that. But see, this is kind of my problem with this one, at least for me. There are literally versions of what he's saying there are not versions of in things we've dealt with in the series. Like, for example, the Ideal Masters are immortal as far as I mean, like that's a thing. To your point, he doesn't really mean it in the way that vampires are like immortal, quote unquote, but it's like that you can kill vampires still. So it's like, I don't think that's really what he meant. So I see what you're saying there. Mm-hmm. But then you've got like the other sort of referencing like that they're kind of achieved like, it's almost like they achieved they achieved Chim theory, but then it's kind of hodgepodged in with a bunch of assumptions of things that don't seem to really work to me, where it's just like, a little too much of that is either making peculiar assumptions on things or like things that kind of are actually a little more concrete in game, or just like trying to draw connections to other things that I'm like,
the evidence is super sketchy. The evidence is very sketchy, but what I do find interesting about this, and the reason why I included it, was this idea of not just like they moved from one realm to another realm, but more of they actually were pulled from a time to a timeless space.
Right.
That is unique, because that's different than just a physical realm to another physical realm. And they now just exist there. I
mean, that's kind of like when they get the, when they activate the Elder Scrolls. I mean, a lot of this was drawn on like referencing Skyrim bits. Mm. So on that, very similar to like, I'm guessing that he means like along the same theory of like when they took Alduin and chucked him out of time until he returned. Like, is that the like out of time that they're referring?
Untime? Whatever that means.
It's like untime, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one. Right. I don't know how I feel about this one.
So what do you think? Like a 2?
Yeah. Again, the like pull it. I'll give it 3 soul gems. 3 soul gems.
All right, 3 soul gems.
Because some removal from this existence plane. However, he's not totally devoid of anything. It's just some of the things I find to be kind of a stretch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's another one. This one kind of moves in another direction here. It's not as far out there as the last one. I mean, it's not as unsubstantiated. It's just, but again, the core concept. I want you to focus a little bit on the core concept here. So again, this one's fairly old. Says crackpot Dwemer theory. Earlier, my friend made an offhand comment about dragon breaks and how they seem to center around pivotal events in the history of Tamriel. He also noted that in some way, creatures can be sent back or forward in time, i.e. Alduin. This got me thinking. It's silly that in a world that is basically medieval, the Dwemer are so far ahead technologically as to develop steam power, airships, and robots. Another thing that is noted is that Dwemer history is extensively imprecise, or is extremely imprecise. This could be due to the effects of a dragon break, which the wiki even likens to the Dwemer disappearance. It seems that dragon breaks occur around centers of vast power, the Numidium, the readings of the Elder Scroll. Numidium is especially important as the center of the dragon break. Why? Because its power source originally is the heart of Lorkhan. When the Dwemer disappeared suddenly, Kagrenak was attempting to use the very same heart of Lorkhan in order to make them all immortal. He obviously screwed up, right? So we've got the foundation. We're talking Numidium, heart of Lorkhan, immortality, right? Same basic stuff. Mm-hmm. My theory is thus. When Kagrenak messed up, what he did exactly was create a dragon break similar to that of Alduin. Only he channeled the energy into his entire race. The Dwemer were sent back in time to the very beginning of time, the Dawn Age, where their history starts, and they essentially relived their history again until again Kagrenak resolved to make things right. And once more, he made a mistake. This would explain their technological advancement. This would explain why Yagrum is unable to find any trace of the Dwemer. They essentially stop existing after the dragon break, being sent back to experience it again. This would also prove ironic. Kagrenak was attempting to make his race immortal. When it seemed clear the Chimer would defeat them in battle, it would be poetic justice if they became immortal, in that they had to relive their history again and again. This would also explain one more thing, why no account of the great battle is the same. According to the wiki, due to the break, not one account of what happened at Red Mountain holds more truth than another. One reason for conflicting accounts is conflicting events. It didn't happen exactly the same every time. Not only that, but some say that Dagoth activated Lorkhan's heart, perhaps in a later redux of the battle. The Dwemer were beginning to win due to their technological superiority, and Dagoth used the power to defeat them temporarily. So the concept here is it's like Groundhog Day for the Dwemer. They get to the battle, they get sent back in time, they now have more technological prowess and an understanding of what's going to happen. They get to the battle, they still mess up, they get sent back in time. They get to the battle, they get sent back in time. They get to the battle, they get sent back in time. Every time they get to the battle, things happen a little bit differently, but they inevitably still get sent back in time because everything still eventually messes up. And so the explanation of what happens at the battle is always a little bit different based on what happens at the battle, because it's you have different accounts of it piling up.
Okay, that's... I guess the one issue with that one that seems kind of peculiar is
so like
the first time the battle have ceased. Like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of different accounts of the Battle of Red Mountain, but theoretically
there's not infinite.
There's not more being added each time. There's a pretty finite amount of them. They're all suspect to what exactly happened. But there's like 9 suspect things of what happened, not
infinite.
Right. So that one sounds a little peculiar. Also, I mean, I guess when you, I don't know, we're getting into weird, wacky theories of time stuff and dragon breaks. So it gets real dicey when all time and no time actually all took place at the same time. Granted, in this time period, it seemed like a lot of their stuff was pretty technologically advanced. But like just from the example of airships, I mean, other groups had airships too. Like, so right. Like that's right. Not even that. But then when you play in the games, it's farther down the line. So did they learn to make airships because of the previous airships? But then there's some reference to Slode possibly having airships. So they, I guess, would also have airships. So, but to do their necromantic shadiness and stuff.
Well, the slow do put romance in necromance.
Nice. I both love and hate that.
I didn't deliver that quite right.
I'm going to allow all of that.
The slow put romantic and necromantic. So
you know what?
I'm
good. I'm good with the nope. We're going with it. But yeah, I don't know. That one seems because there's just different interpretations of what happened at Red Mountain. It doesn't strike me the same as in like the interregnum. Like in Elder Scrolls Online, it's a period of time where there's really very little documented and it's a mess. And then you've got Elder Scrolls Online filling in these blanks, but then everybody's story is their own story at the same time. So like which ones are real? And there's like empires rising and falling, which they've tied into Cyrodiil with people being crowned emperor and stuff like that. That's a missing chunk of history. The Battle of Red Mountain isn't really a missing chunk of history. It's just a
highly debated.
Which, surprise, you get that from real life war too, where it's like, oh, well, from our perspective, this was not so great. That doesn't strike me as so undocumented.
We get that in events that happened in the last 8 months.
That's valid. So it never struck me as like information lost to time, like, you know, honestly, yeah, like Groundhog Day, like you said, where it's like, oh crap, here we go again. It's like magic vortex, and then all of a sudden the Dwemer are digging their way back up, and it's just like, this one, it's creative.
I think it's a fun idea, but I don't know that it holds weight.
It's creative,
but it's a fun idea.
Seems a little too goofy, I guess, without it being just like more. I can't believe I'm about to say this. If that time period was wackier, I think this would hold weight. But the fact that it's not completely derailed in that area, and that's actually a more concrete story with just different perspectives, that one strikes me as I don't know if I go with that one too much. It's certainly creative though.
Or if we got like 9 loops, and on the 9th loop, that was the destruction of the Dwemer. Like, there was an official like final loop where Kagranak actually did something different, and then they disappeared for good. But then that doesn't. We would still have to explain like, well, where did they go?
But and
doesn't
then that
really
just
solve
brings
the
you
problem.
back to the question of like, okay, all we did was get to the same question with 9 Groundhog Day movies or Dwemer Day movies.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, I could watch Groundhog Day 9 times. It's a good movie.
Yeah, well, no, I could too, but can you watch Dwemer Day 9 times is really the question.
Yeah. So
that one's, I don't know, that one's just a little peculiar. It's certainly creative, but that one's less meh.
It's fun. It gets
fun.
points for being fun.
It certainly is, and it's definitely different.
Okay, so what do you think for plausibility?
I would give that one. I'd probably give that one a 3.
Because 3 for plausibility, but I think it gets like a 5 for fun.
Yeah, you can give it a little bonus points for fun, but I would have it pretty much in the same category as the last one for like odds that I'll buy this.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I've got one more, and this one, I'm going to tell you right now, this one gets a 0 for plausibility. Absolute 0, because we've already ruled this out.
Great start. I love
We've already ruled this out in a previous episode, and you're going to know as soon as I talk about this that this one's right out.
I mean, to be fair,
one
of the other ones, we try to keep this like fun to be like in lore, but like out of lore. I mean, the one before where the reference was made to the bugs in jars with the symbols on the bottom.
Right.
I mean, the artist who did that literally just said these have no purpose.
Yeah, it's just a thing you did. Yeah.
Objectively, that one's pretty much done because it's just like, well, one of the people on the team was like, yeah, no, this was going to be a different quest and we just never finished it, but we left the bugs in the jars in the game. It's like,
they don't mean anything.
Alrighty. Yeah, it's like they literally don't mean anything because that quest wasn't finished.
Yep. Okay, so this one doesn't mean anything, has no chance of actually being real. It's kind of, I'm including it because it's probably the most creative way to
Oh boy, I can't wait for this.
combine a Dwemer theory and this other theory that I've read on the internet.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I'm prepped.
And I think it will be equal parts. Wow, that's also creative. That's creative, and equal parts gag me right now. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's a good one and a bad one at the same time. So here you go. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. All right, here we go. Whew. Also, this one's. I'm not going to say anything more about it because I don't go look it up. I don't want people like poo-pooing on this. I'm just gonna read it and be nice. Be nice, internet. All right, here we go. I believe Bethesda is setting up a merger of their IPs, introducing Nerdroot into Fallout 4 in the crux of my imaginations below. So, from that, the Dwemer are actually vault dwellers.
And the Pridwin is their airship.
All right. I'm sorry. The Dwemer ruins are vaults. When a vault gets corroded, it turns bronze/rust colored, so it's an odd metal, much like Dwemer metal. The Dwemer robots are sentry bots, assaultrons, the Chinese spider bots, etc. The steam power in Dwemer runes are really backup thermal reactors in select vaults.
Rewind one quick second. Hold up.
Yeah.
So the little propaganda bots from Fallout 76 are the Dwemer spiders is the connection we just made?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just wanted to double check. Do they still drop propaganda flyers?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Okay.
I warned you guys.
All right. All right.
Did I warn? I warned you.
Let's keep going. We got creativity out the
I've got 1, 2, 3,
here.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more paragraphs. Here we go. Azure, I think they mean Azura, and the other Daedra, are synthetics that roam free after the Institute is destroyed. I think they mean synths.
Yeah.
Again, please be nice to this person. Don't find this and poop on it.
Yeah, we don't need to harp on the technicalities of anything because this is all gibberish.
Please be nice. Please
Not
be nice.
just this one.
All of them are gibberish. They salvaged Institute tech to teleport and have robotic animals to spy on everyone. Lorcan is Liberty Prime, and the tools are really parts of a power suit or such. Lorcan's activation would renew nuclear power against Chinese remnants. I believe elves came up from genetic experiments, possibly China's FEV plot. What?
This took a weird turn that I was not expecting.
God, I need to talk about this on the Fallout Lorecast.
Oh my! This took a turn. I
didn't know that China had an FEV plot.
We're really the road is a thing that we cannot see anymore. Got it.
Okay, I'm gonna make it through this. To withstand radiation and mutations, create different races of elves to match their environments. Okay, so when Azura meets a new subjugated race, elves, she takes them under her wing and guides them in this horrible wasteland. She nurtures them to thrive, gets very invested in them. Then humans, vault dwellers, are going to kill them all with Liberty Prime. She teleports people somewhere else. They've destroyed this world before, not again, she says. Possibly Vault-Tech's plan was to colonize Mars, which is...
Now we're bringing in Doom?
Wait. Which is Oblivion. So she uses her teleportation system to send all Vault humans to Oblivion. She pulls Death Claws, which are clan fears and other Dradria, there too. It's a pure start for the elves. At this point, instead of being elves versus humans, the elves started seeing other elves as a threat and created their separate races then. You still with me?
No, I haven't been with you since like the first sentence in, but keep going. I can
start over. You want me to?
Nope. Just keep burrowing through.
Three more quick little paragraphs. Here we go. Here we go. Mud crabs are mirelurks devolving. Sorry. I'm still trying to keep a straight face.
Wait a minute. I lied. Go back and repeat that.
Mud crabs. Let me take a drink. Mud crabs are mirelurks devolving. Orcs are super mutants that overcame sterilization. Khajiit and Argonians are mutants. The Elder Scrolls are really Pip-Boys, cartridges, or like tech. The Blades are the remnants of the Brotherhood of Steel that can't produce power armor, so they guide the government. I don't know how that logic follows, but okay. Final paragraph. Now, I don't have all the answers, like ghosts or phantoms, but maybe the Greenwich buildings were releasing magic into the world, and it's gone to town since then. It's gone to town, all right. That's it.
Oh, okay, we're done. We're all done with that? Okay.
That fever dream is over.
One thing I will say about all of that, which is quite a lot. So the parallels that this person drew between things just like design wise is kind of amusing. Like
it's a fun,
like,
okay,
you
so,
have orcs, you have super mutants,
right?
You have spider Dwemer, you have Chinese propaganda bots, you have vaults, you have Dwemer. Like, the parallels that were drawn are actually kind of amusing when you think about that. It's like,
they
that's
are
really funny. There's just so many things that theoretically it's like, oh yeah, you could just be like, this is like this, this is like this, this is like that. The way that honestly you can kind of joke, but Bethesda Studios kind of just makes one game in two different settings.
Right. Yeah, it's like if you took a spreadsheet and you just had like, okay, here's all the races, and you just kind of lined them next to each other, and then you just drew parallel lines between whatever the closest two things were.
Right.
This is kind of where things would roughly line up.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, okay, this is this, this is this, this is this. Now, how do we justify it? Maybe this is the justification.
Right.
And you just kind of force the two into each other. This is what would happen, right?
So, and the thing about this, which is kind of funny, which again, just on the parallels of like the series they literally make. One of the things that it was kind of funny, I don't know, when Far Cry 3 came out, which was shortly after Skyrim, a lot of people were like, oh man, it's like Skyrim with guns. And I like Far Cry 3, but I was like, how is this Skyrim with guns? I was like, if you want Skyrim with guns, you play Fallout. It's just Gunrim. Like, it's the same thing, except in post-apocalypse, and you have guns. That's Gunrim, not Far Cry 3. But having a lot of these parallels, it's like, wow, it really is really like just funny that you can just be like, oh yeah, these are the orcs, these are the, okay, that's kind of funny. I'm amused by that. Like, I like that.
Yep. Fev Dweller jokes in chat and he says, Tom, when did you post this? And Dazan says, it really sounds like a kid as a fan making parallels. And yeah, no, it does. Like, this legitimately sounds like
100%.
This sounds like a teenager, just kind of was like, hey, I just had an idea. This seems like, if you were to mash these things up, this is what you would get. Absolutely. And that's why I'm saying, like, don't go hunt this down and make fun of the person who wrote it, because chances are it's a young person who just had a creative idea and just posted it on the internet, and good for them.
You don't need to, and that's the thing. You don't need to neckbeard this one with like, well, it's not this thing or this thing. Right. It's just this one is just like,
right. Our more sophisticated lore brains are going, what? This would be ridiculous. That sounds so dumb. But
it does. It strikes me as more of a comparison thing.
Yeah.
Than like an actual theory. So, but at the same time, like I said, I just enjoyed, like, if you were like, hey, what's a thing that's like another thing? It's like, oh wow, Bethesda, really good lore. Their stuff is real similar.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially things like getting names wrong, like slightly, or not understanding that Azura isn't an Adra.
Sure.
That sounds like somebody who has played the series a little bit and understands things just kind of rough around the edges and is just writing about it. You know, like me when I was 13 and I was just making stuff up, like,
to be fair though, I wasn't sure how deep this was going to go, because once Mars got mentioned, I was like, oh my God, we're bringing in Doom. Like, we're bringing in Doom, and then somehow we're going to do the Doom Quake crossover.
Wolfenstein. It's next.
Yeah, and then we're gonna drag in Wolfenstein, and then bam, Dishonored comes in from the left with the whale punk, whatever.
Oh my God.
It's like,
I want. Okay, here's what we should do. We should see if one of our listeners can work together a justification for how all of the major Bethesda titles are all in the same universe.
does it have to be good? Because I can do it.
I want someone to write something that's like no more than 1,000 words, but
Okay.
but justifies how all the major IPs. So everything from, like you said, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, Quake, Wolfenstein, and then we also have to throw in some of the other stuff like Dishonored. We have to have Prey. Prey has to be in there. What else? What's the spooky one? I need to look these up.
The Evil Within.
Evil Within needs to be in there. Then what else is there? Chat, help us out.
Oh, what about Rage? Gotta get Rage in there.
That's right. Rage needs to be in there. Starfield. Starfield needs to be in
perfect.
there.
Yeah, it's a future thing. Yes, Starfield. All right, good. Yeah, good.
However you guys want to fit them in there. It's just like,
yeah, no, this is all totally
no more than
reasonable.
1,000 words. It is really just like a sheet of paper. Just like, how do all these things fit in the same universe? Somehow cram them all in.
Also, I would like to shout out that you said 1,000 words or less, and from chat, actually, they recently just started their podcast, the Quill and Vile podcast. But actually, I don't think I've ever said your name aloud, but I think it's I've never said this before.
The 2 L's in a row.
Yeah, I've just actually never pronounced. Okay, Livia. I've never actually said your name. It's always been read via Twitter. Livia. Okay,
Olivia.
So that is it. Okay, just wanted to not butcher that. But yeah, they just started up the Quill and Vile podcast.
Nice.
And Livia solved it in 3 words. Yeah, so we didn't need 1,000 words. It was just
Kelpas.
Kelpas on different Kelpas. Boom, done.
Boom, done.
Amazing.
Done. But you got to put them in order. You got to give us a little bit more than that. Like this Kelpa led to this Kelpa. Like this Kelpa ended when this happened, and then led to this Kelpa, which birthed to this Kelpa. Like you got to give us something. Right?
I just love
yes,
the
you're
fact
right.
that it
I think
was
Kelpas would be a wonderful justification.
I was gonna say, I love how it was just like boom. It's like, oh yeah, you really could just BS your way out of that immediately.
Yeah, Fev, you can submit a corkboard with red string. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. No, that's
with pictures.
Yes,
and Danny DeVito has to be one of the images on that though. You have to include him in there.
It should be
somehow.
written like that too. Each theory needs to be red string to the other one, so you have to try to figure out the order to read everything in too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazed hair is a requirement. Like
crazy hair. All of that.
Yep, crazy hair.
Yeah.
But so yes, that was. We will be putting somebody in a soul gem for that one, but we will give it 1 soul gem. Not 0 soul gems for me. That is 1 soul gem.
All
the
right.
writer's soul is in that gem. But I love the creativity.
Yeah, it's fun, and I think chat was right. Whoever it was in chat, Daz, I think it was, who said, it most likely was a kid who just kind of was playing with ideas and was like, what if this is what's going on here? So it's fun, and
yeah,
and we're going, oh, we know this isn't true, this is cringy, but really it's, everybody just likes playing with ideas. So let's just play with ideas and have fun with it. But guys, thank you for tuning into this episode.
Yeah.
I hope you had fun going over some really crazy Dwemer theories. I'm sure there are some that are way more substantiated than these. And who knows, maybe we'll cover some of those in the future.
I had not heard that I actually really, really like.
Yeah. So some fun stuff. But we'd love to hear your thoughts on any of these. Come join us on the Robots Radio Discord channel and send us some thoughts in the Elder Scrolls Lorecast channel. And remember, we've got some new stuff on Patreon. If you want to sign up or upgrade to make sure that you can get your t-shirts or your stickers, and check those out as well. Lotus, do you have anything cool going on? Anything you want to share?
Not really, actually. I really
not at all.
Just the normal podcast stuff. Streaming when I can, but I've actually been streaming also. It's a random junk. So
me
it's, too. Which is weird because I don't usually do that. Hopefully, I've been trying to get everything finalized for having some of the old Elder Scrolls games, just the emulators for some of these older ones, not the main, but these mobile games have been a little rough. But at the same time, just trying to finalize that so I can jump into them will be, hopefully sooner rather than later. But yeah, I've just been playing a lot of Chivalry 2, and Torchlight 2.
Dude, I started that up the other night and chopped off some guys' heads and stuff. And
yeah, it's super fun. They gotta put in that cross-play party
crossplay.
Like,
I want to chop off people's heads with you.
Right, but all I can do is happen to just chance be in a server with you.
I know.
We need to be able to all group up. Snap. Like,
absolutely. Yeah. Get on it, Chivalry. Yep. All right. Well, I've been just kind of streaming when I can. Not a whole lot of games lately. Been working on a lot of projects, like I was talking in the pre-show. Getting a lot of stuff done, getting a lot of art done for the Patreon stuff, and hopefully I'll get some more time coming up to play some more games. Jumped back into Destiny 2. Man, that game is so good. There's a lot of
Destiny 2. So it's weird. We'll go on a mild tangent right before we
mild tangent. Yeah.
So Destiny 2 is fun to play, but Destiny 2 was always a better concept than a game to me. And I just played them a bunch, so it's not like I don't like them.
I love short periods of time. I love just getting through the new content. And I've got like a bunch of, not new content, I've got a bunch of old content that I just never caught up on.
That
stuff, I love just visiting it, getting through the story stuff. I don't like grinding and content stuff. Mm-hmm. I love the setting, the shooting mechanics. I like just getting in it, blowing stuff up, running around with some other people, the world, the graphics. I take it in like
it's very pretty.
I take it in like watching a movie.
Yeah, and I always thought that the raids were kind of neat. I had a lot of fun with those.
And then I'm done. I play for a few weeks and I'm done.
Yeah, see, originally I played them a lot. I platinumed both of them, which is 100% for
Fev says I'm part of his raid team now.
Yeah, well, for anybody. So it's like I definitely played them a lot. So not to downplay the fun factor of them. My problem with them was just always that what they made for what they were trying to do always just seemed like so much less than what we were promised, which I think kind of just got under my skin after a while, because I do kind of like endgame the crap out of this stuff. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't that it was bad ever, but a lot of it, to your point, you don't like the grind. It devolves into just grind.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
I'm a tourist. I once it gets to grind on any of these games, I just hop into something else for a while.
Yeah. And
I'm fine with that.
I didn't like the fact that I had fun with the grind, and then they would just like undermine all of your gear with some like lame reason to the system. Yeah. And like after a couple times, I was like, I'm not re-gearing anymore. That's enough. I've had enough. But the new thing I've heard a lot of hype for, the Witch Queen or something like that. I don't know the name. I saw the trailer. Yeah. It looked pretty, but all their trailers look pretty. The game's gorgeous.
It's a beautiful game. And I think maybe Bungie's had enough time now where they've been in charge of it 100%, that maybe their plans are now coming to fruition. They've been unchained
maybe
from Activision long enough.
My only thing that I kind of wish that, I mean, maybe that they will finalize it, but like the original plot, I'm at least where I left off, which was Forsaken, was the last time I played Destiny. I guess I got tired of waiting for them to ever get around to what the hell is the darkness.
Yeah, I don't, it's all just space magic to me. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to what's actually going on.
Space magic,
which is totally fine.
I think I looked. Oh, and it absolutely. It's what you want to get out of it. You know what I mean?
It's the shooting is fine. Wacky, it's fun. The setting is awesome. The everything feels and looks really cool. Like places get real creepy or really moody or really spacey looking, or like all of that stuff looks awesome. And the thing that really occurred to me was I want a Destiny that's not space fantasy. It's just freaking fantasy. But designed with the same kind of aesthetics, the same kind of fighting, but just give me more swords and things too.
Sure.
Why
I
not?
could totally see that.
I would totally love that. But anyway, I'm running out of time because we've got the Dungeons.
Yeah, I was going to say
Dungeons and Dragons Lorecast coming up in like 10 minutes.
Literal
So-
couple minutes.
Yeah, I gotta get that set up. But anyway, that's what I've been doing. I've got all that stuff going on. But you guys know where to get my stuff. Robotsradio.net, and we'll see you guys around. Thanks, everybody. Bye. See you later. Thanks for listening to the Elder Scrolls Lorecast. If you have something you'd like to contribute to the show, please reach out to us at elderscrollslorecast@gmail.com or on Twitter @ESO Lorecast. I really appreciate you listening, and I'd love to hear from you soon.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.
Hey, I'm Tom,
And I'm Stuart.
and we're from the Dungeons & Dragons Lorecast.
We talk about all things connected to D&D lore.
And we're on the Robots Radio Network. So if you're into Dungeons & Dragons or you're into lore, then come check us out. You can find us on any podcatcher, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you get podcasts.
Roll more dice.
That's the Dungeons & Dragons Lorecast.
Hey Simone,
Yes, Chad.
what would you say is your favorite bad movie?
Oh, where would I start? But probably at zombie strippers.
Oh yeah, which we've actually done on our podcast, Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast. This is a podcast where we take some of the worst movies ever created, and even some of those movies that you might have thought were brilliant, but still got a bad critic score, and we say nice things about them, because you know what? Someone put the effort in, so we're gonna be there fighting in their corner.
Absolutely, Chad. Even if the movie was total garbage, there are some makeup artists that gave it their all, and we're here to recognize that.
Exactly, and with really fun themes every week, such as National Treasure Week, Weddings Week, movies with Jeremy Irons and dragons in them. How could you go wrong by joining us every Tuesday and Thursday for some optimism in your life?
And like we say at the end of every episode, we love you and there's nothing you can do about it.
We love you and there's nothing you can do about it. Goodbye!
Hey, all you wannabe raiders out there, it's your bestest girl Rose coming at ya from top of the world. Now it's time for your local traffic and weather. Well, looks like almost everyone's still dead, so traffic is at a standstill. And now a word from our sponsor, because they're totally not bribing me with massive amounts of chems or anything. Seems as the stuffed shirts are back at the White Springs playing games with that total loser Modus. But hey, if that's your thing, whatever. So if all you squares wanted to hear more totally sort of, but maybe not boring stories about rebuilding Appalachia and being all goody two-shoes, definitely not raiders, check out this thing they call a podcast. The Modus Files. Whatever that's supposed to be. On Spotify, iTunes, and wherever else you listen to those things. Double ugh. They are not paying me enough for this. Till later, this is Rose. Raiders rule!